All right, we're live. Had a little technical glitch there, and so Laborion here has a question for Mr. Sutton.
Okay.
Question.
Trying
Oh, don't get nervous on him, Manny May.
to figure out how to phrase it right, like how to deal with control as far as managers controlling like personal and business in your life.
Right. I think that it's really important for artists to remember that at the end of the day, you're the boss. You're delegating and assigning people with tasks, but you're the boss. So when you're dealing with a manager, you have to trust that number one, that you incorporated this particular manager into your career path because they have proven themselves to be successful with someone else that you may admire their career or something like that. So then you base that upon that success ratio. Now, with that being said, there's some things that you have to trust with one of your teammates, and then there's some things that you have to make decisions on. Is this the right teammate for you based upon what their decision-making processes are? So, when it comes to paying your bills and things of that nature, if that was part of the question, I personally never agree with that particular thing, and I've had some really good hands-on first-person accounts of some of my clients that have learned to manage certain aspects of their careers themselves, such as finance. You really don't want to trust that to a manager. You want to use a CPA for that. And the reason why you use a CPA is because they have a Hippocratic oath that they've sworn to. And oaths are just humans saying words, but for some humans, it really means something to them. So with personal finance, use CPA for that. And when it comes to booking dates and shows and things of that nature, that's what your manager's for.
Now, did he really answer what you really want him to answer?
Okay, I have another question. What about when, like, okay, say your team isn't cooperating and you want to still work, but, like, they're telling you not to work. Can you, like, work, like, just go and work by yourself but not put anything out and just, like, let them know, okay, this is what I've been working on while we weren't working together?
Mm-hmm. Be a little more specific. Does it mean like you're tired, you're just not able to hit notes, or
No.
you gotta? Okay.
No, it just means like as a team,
Mm-hmm.
like we're not moving forward right now as a team, but
Okay.
I still want to do my own thing. Like I still want to work on music.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try one second, Rob? So I'm your management, and I tell you, sit your butt down, wait, don't work, don't go to the studio, don't do this. So I'm impeding you doing work.
You're impeding me doing work with you. You're not telling me not to work. You're telling me not to work with you right now.
Okay, so your management is telling you not to work with them. If your management was telling you not to work with them, and then what work are you supposed to be doing?
Promotion.
Promoting what?
A video.
A video. Okay, does that make any sense, Brock? Are we making any sense?
Well, when you have a team and your team is no longer cooperating or behaving as a team, then there are a couple of things that you can do. You could look at the core, you could look at individual players on the team. Sometimes, just like with the athletic team, you have to replace one player, and that one player can, being replaced could change the whole dynamic of your team and get your team back on track. Then other times the whole team may not be on the same page as you, and then you have to get a whole new team.
Can she do that if she's under contract?
Well, you didn't add that part. Contracts depending upon what type of contract it is. There's really no such thing as a management contract. And if you're in a management contract, then somehow or another you were ill-advised. You should always be able to replace management. You're the boss. Manager works for you. You don't work for the manager.
But you do work for a label, right? You're signed to a label?
Well, if you're signed to a label, then the label is acting as a bank, and they've lent you money on intellectual property, and they expect a return. So you don't work for them either. You are indebted to them, and that debt has to be satisfied through the sale of a tangible product or your intellectual property. So you don't work for them either. You're indebted to them, and that debt has to be satisfied.
You all right?
Record companies are, for musicians, a bank. If you go to a lending institution like Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever lending institution, and you want to buy a house, they loan money on those types of things based upon your ability to pay the debt. But when we're talking about intellectual property, only record companies and venture capitalists are able to give you money like that. Venture capitalists could be your family, friends, and or a real VC who believes in the project and believes that they're going to get a positive rate of return on the money that they've invested.
So right now your issue is you feel you're controlled too much to where you cannot do what?
Work.
What does that mean? What do you mean by work?
As far as making music.
Well, you got to speak up so he can hear you.
As far as recording music.
Mm-hmm. Are you paying for the studio time, or is the manager paying for the studio time?
The managers are paying for the studio time.
Oh, well, then there again.
But yeah, I understand that, but like, I could also get in the studio and pay for my own studio time.
Right.
And you don't because?
Well, at the time I didn't have a job, but I have a job.
If you were to come in and pay for studio time right now, would that be an issue with your management or your label or whatever?
No, I would hope not.
Okay. I mean, you got the man right here. You know, I'm sure he's heard everything. Heard and seen some of everything. So.
Well, you know, you want to try to get along with your teammates. Obviously, unless you got, I don't know the whole dynamic. I think that when we're talking about teams are built up of pals, and pals stick together. If we're talking about you being in a situation where you're an employee of the management, then that's a little different, and that gets into something that becomes opinion. And I'm an engineer, so I really try to stick to fact and, you know, tangible results.
What should she, as an artist, be focused on doing Well, you know what? Before I even go there, the when I'm dealing with a lot of artists, I see all this packaging, a whole bunch of packaging, but the delivering on the product is not there. So there's all this Photoshop, all this stuff where it looks good, but Marvin Gaye, when he would be in concert singing to a young lady, looking at her, singing to her, mess her up and cause problems between her and her man. That type of, delivering on the end result, I don't see that. And so for me, I'm constantly trying to get people to get to where they can deliver. With all that said, when you deal with an artist, what's one of the first things that you look for to make sure that they have a solid foundation in?
Character. Are they tough? Are they able to hang? When adversity comes up, do we need to change a lyric after you've memorized a lyric and then the lyric just doesn't quite work with what we're doing and we have to change it? And are they open to change and able to adjust? This is a fluid, creativity has to be fluid. It can't be regimented. It has to be structured chaos.
Are you ready for that? We're going to be changing your lyrics, and you're going to be changing them too. We're going to be going back and forth.
I've been ready.
I'm going to choke you out. Yeah.
I'm losing some of the audio, you guys.
Okay, go up to the top center of your screen and click on adjust the bandwidth thing, the signal, and set it toward the middle. Okay. And your audio, you should get audio better from us.
Okay.
And that should help keep you from dropping off. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm, I do.
That bar? Okay. Hit him with some more questions. Go ahead. Don't play shy.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, well, if you don't just make up stuff. Who else has a question?
I can just say something real quick to what we're talking about. It's helpful. The magic words: timeline, scope, and budget. For me, before I was talking about executive producers. So whenever the team's going haywire and there's some issues, somebody needs to step in there and kind of define what everybody's doing and help get everybody on the same page.
Yes. It is beyond crucial that somebody is always paying attention to the direction that this particular endeavor is going. Now remember, when you're going into the studio, you should have been rehearsing before you even got to the studio. You should have been rehearsing those songs to the point where you could play them from top to bottom with minimal amount of opinion. There's no such thing as so I say opinionated mistakes because you may have played A instead of A sharp or something like that, and that gets into opinion. It's not a mistake, it's just an opinion. So then you punch it in. But then when people just start breaking down, then you're in trouble, and you have to do whatever you can to repair the breakdown. You have to repair the breakdown so that you're able to continue to move forward. You never want to give up on what it is that you're doing until it's absolutely necessary to do so. And everything is salvageable. Everything. You can always overdub. You can always punch somebody in.
Okay. What is it that
rehearsal is the key, you guys, in my opinion. Now, obviously, we're hearing about people writing lyrics on the spot and day of and things of that nature, and you very rarely hear that from bands, but you do hear it in some of the electronic music content creators' culture. I don't personally think that that's the best mode of practice. I think that when we're doing something like creating music, that it should be given good time and thought.
What is it that when I listen to Marvin Gaye and who sang "If You Think You're Lonely Now, Wait Until Tonight"?
It's a great song. Right off the top of my head, if you think
or say Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass. When I listen to them, what are they doing, or what did they do that people are not doing today? What did they do that made them to where they could do that, have that effect on us?
Rehearse, practice, memorization, interpretation.
It's as simple as that. Foundational stuff, huh?
Absolutely, man. Everything that's worth anything requires time and effort before you put the show on. Before you go into the studio, you have to rehearse. You have to rehearse. There's no way around that. You have to rehearse. If you don't rehearse, then you're just creating some bullshit, and it's only gonna last for the season, and then nobody will ever listen to it again. You know, I was taught an old school way, even though for me the 80s isn't old, but and 90s, but is that everything that we do should be created to last indefinitely. And you want to be able to, the only way you could do that is by taking your time and reading and writing it and reading and writing it and going over it and over it again and again until you achieve what your level of, your opinion of perfection is. And then, yeah, you do have, you know, a great song. And I'll drop a name bomb. So, you know, like with Dancing on the Ceiling, those, that record, those songs are still played now, and they're music. So when you go into the supermarket, you'll hear a version of Lady. You'll hear a version of Lionel. Any one of those songs, you'll hear a version of it because orchestras do them, and they're just well written and thought out songs. So that's really what you want to do if you want to make publishing part of your residual income. You want to write stuff that's publishable, and it's going to have a good shelf life. And you can only do that by having good players and good teammates and good people around you that promote perfection.
Lene Patrick, thank you. She sent me a message saying Bobby Womack.
There you go.
You had stated in an article you were talking about keeping the energy high and making the environment better from where new ideas could be created.
Yes.
Would you speak on that?
Yeah, you want to create an environment where people feel safe to say something that may they may be. You want to create an environment where creativity is promoted, even if it's an avant-garde idea. You want people to be able to say it anyway. And then you know, if your teammates and if you're real teammates, then they're gonna indulge it and test it. And if it works, everybody's hands are up. If it doesn't work, you know, it's like, okay, cool. We did it to the best of our ability. We really gave it the best, and it just doesn't sound the way that we thought it would sound. So you move on.
Okay, that actually,
yeah. When you do this for a living.
All right, he's cut out again. Are you there?
You do this in time.
You're cutting in and out. You started cutting in and out again.
Okay, how's that now?
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
You said
So what did you guys miss?
When you do this for a living, that's where you end it.
Yeah, when you do this for a living, time means nothing. You're not supposed to look at it as, man, I really wish I was at the club, or I really wish I was with a girlfriend, or I really wish I was with my boyfriend, or I really wish I was with my boys. Then you fucking up. Nothing should be more important than this.
How do we? First.
And the people that are in your life should recognize that.
Say that again.
And the people that are in your lives should recognize that when you're in the creative mode, then that's what you're doing. You're creating. Yeah, nobody wants to hear about going to, a restaurant to have dinner. We can do that when I get done with this.
Tell that to your man when you get one. That part where you said them actually indulging, that hit me, because I see a lot where somebody will have what you call an avant-garde, strange, whatever, and people will just allow them to do it and then move on, but not actually test it and like really try to work with that person to get it to work. So even with my crew, thank you, I'm going to start making sure we do that. How? Well, I guess that does answer how. Part of my question was, how do we make the environment to where people feel like they could? Here, let me read it again. Where they could create new ideas. Yeah, I guess you answered it. How do you keep the energy high? How do you keep the energy high in the environment?
By not talking negative. Don't talk about anybody or anything that doesn't have anything to do with you and your immediate team. Don't talk about your teammates. That's the number is backbiting and talking about people when they're not there. If you're upset with one of your teammates, say it. Say it. I don't like the way that you looked at my girlfriend's ass when she walked out, man. Why you do that? And your friend may say, well, because she got a big ass, or I didn't really, it may have looked like that's what I was doing, but I wasn't. You got it out in the open, it's clear, and there's no reason for it to continue on. And it's the same thing with all aspects of life. Do not talk about people. Don't do shit like that. It promotes dissension, and it promotes bad behavior that's going to be exhibited towards whoever it was that you were talking about. Don't do it. Teammates don't do that. You roll with whoever it is. I had an instance and many years ago, and I was getting onto an elevator, and a very famous artist was getting off the elevator, and he had his date with him.
That's where we end it.
Oh no. Suspense.
I'm not going to kick him out this time because I won't be able to get him back. So I was just about to ask him to tell me an Eric B. and Rakim story because he worked with them. And then I wanted him to tell me about a Motley Crue. And he may not even he's kicked out. I'm going to have to send him a message.
That's a heck of a difference, going from Lionel Richie to Motley Crue,
He's back. Welcome back, bruh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ralph?
There's two of them on here.
Yeah, I'm scared to eject. The last time I ejected the dead one, the dead account, he couldn't get back in, so I'm not touching it.
I'm here. I'm back.
Okay,
you guys hear me?
All we heard was he got out the elevator with his boy, with his date.
Yeah, and that was a moment where this is somebody who I'm working with now. And it was one of those moments of truth. He looked me straight in the eye And I looked him straight in the eye, and he said, "Well," and kept going. So,
Well, now
and
you're now.
well, that well was, hey, you know, this is me. I'm doing me. I'm doing
You
me.
never said a word? You
I'm
never
doing
said a
me.
word?
I wasn't trying to hide anything. It wasn't one of those kind of things, because if I would have, if by me not saying a word or saying a word would have been corruptive. So what was the point? That was his reason too. It was like, well, you know, ain't nobody's business what somebody does when it's not harming another human.
Hey, Ralph, what you said about not talking bad about other people, that's just amazing that you said that. I really it resonates with me, just how important it is to just keep your mouth shut and only say nice things. And take that a step further, as I heard somebody tell me one time that it's even bad to talk good about other people in a session or an environment. It's almost the same thing as talking bad about somebody. It's just better not to talk about anybody, period. Is that
That's
resonate?
absolutely. I would agree with you 100%, because it doesn't have anything to do with any aspect of the process.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Politics, yeah, politics is the same way. It don't have anything to do with the price of tea in China or your recording session.
R.L. Alexander down there posted Eric B's story with a bunch of question marks, and I'm sitting there. I wanted to ask about Eric B. And Rakim also.
Yeah.
So tell us a story.
I love doing those records, man. And Rakim, no doubt, and Eric B, no doubt, are hip-hop gods. And everything that I just said, we structured the songs, Pay Full, to the In the Ghetto, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, Mahogany. All those songs were rehearsed, man. Rob wrote those lyrics over again and perfected them until they met his standard and then Eric's standard. And then it was my responsibility to just do it, record it to the best of my ability with distortion free and the best level possible.
Now, which music of yours did they use?
I did Let Them Hit 'Em in the 18th level. And then I've done various remixes on Paid in Full. Those are albums when I say that.
Oh yeah,
Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. Yeah.
No, I remember. I clearly remember when Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em came out. Well, I remember all of them, but I had anyway. Yeah. RL, anything else for him on Eric B and Rakim, bro? You're muted. You got to unmute yourself. I muted you. Take your cursor to the top of the screen. You'll see a mic. Just click on it, and it'll unmute you. There you go.
Okay. My question is the advent of VSTs. Do you prefer using digital digital stuff, or do you like using vintage hardware? Which one do you prefer?
Mm-hmm. I'm good with either or. To use so if there's a version of the Focusrite Red series plugin, I'll use that opposed to paying $100 a day to rent a Red 1 or a Red 2. Yeah. So it's all in how you use it, and the way that you adjust it. So yeah, I'm flexible in just about everything is feasible. I don't really about any particular aspect of creativity. I'm flexible. You know, with excuse and I'll give you a story, and this story kind of transcends into definitely into the music world and being a music professional. I was in a cab the other day, and I was going through Hancock Park, and I saw a house that I hadn't seen in a minute, or I had never seen this house before, and I was like, wow. And the cab driver was like, what? And I was like, man, that house is spectacular. And you know, all these are multi-million-dollar homes, and he said, and verbatim, it's a nice house, but all these houses, crooks live in them. And he said they're all full of crooks. And I said, well, what do you mean? He was like, he tried to explain to me in his juvenile way that everybody who lived in these multi-million-dollar houses, he inferred, had stole money or had done something to achieve that level of success. And that was an excuse. That was an excuse. We shouldn't have excuses. That was an excuse. I don't know what he was trying to, by minimizing somebody's success to that level of calling them a crook, just was a level of excuse, because on some level he's not willing to put forth the effort to achieve a higher goal than he had achieved. So he classified them as crooks. I brought that up just so that we understand that excuses have many different guises and forms, and it's really important to recognize them when they slip out of your mouth and correct yourself as quickly as possible. These thoughts are things, especially in the creative world, where everything that we do is based upon a thought, and then it becomes, then we make it live. So thoughts are things, and words are powerful. You guys still there?
Okay. All right. Let's see. David Foster, Humberto Gatica. You guys worked on a bunch of stuff together. I see Julio Iglesias.
Chicago 18. Yeah, Chicago, Julio, Barbara Streisand.
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, yes.
Dionne Warwick.
Yes, that's what friends are for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me, bro.
And Carol Bear Sager.
Oh, the wireless is killing me. I'm wanting to hear this.
And others. What
Say
would
that
you,
one more time.
I said, I'm very grateful and thankful, and my gift has always kept me free, and I'm very appreciative of it. And it's come with a lot of practice and, yeah, determination on my part.
What did you learn from? Go ahead.
From who?
David Foster and Humberto. What did you learn from them?
Teamwork. Yeah, teamwork. Once again, David does the arrangements, has the idea of how the production is going to go. Julio at that particular time was a great Latin lover, and all his songs were around about love and about the conquest of Julio, you know, and he's kind of like that cat from those Eddie Murphy, whatever those movies are, those Shrek movies. You know, he's very, yeah, he just loves ladies, man. That was his thing, and David catered to that. He wrote songs, or he wrote the arrangements around Julio's voice so that Julio could deliver that Latin lover thing. Yeah. Okay. So it was just a really good team to be on, man. It was a really good team to be on. We ate well, we worked well, we worked long hours, and then we would take long breaks while, you know, working. So, yeah, that was fun. I like doing, that day is gone, I think, but I like doing those types of records where there's no pressure and there's a good team captain. David kept us going in the right direction, and Julio was happy, and we would have uh, great dinners. Julio would send one of his assistants out. At that time, he had a guy named Tony Reyna, and Tony was like Julio. They speak Portuguese, and they love the ladies. And he sent Tony to Spain to get some crab. So it took Tony 3 days to get us dinner.
Wow.
And Tony came back with these refrigerated things, and he took them. He didn't even come to the studio with them. Lion's Share was directly across the street from an Italian restaurant called Giuseppe's. And Giuseppe was a very chef. And he took the crabs to Giuseppe, and then Giuseppe prepared the crab, and then he brought it over to the studio, and with all his entourage of sous chefs and servers, and they set up the studio, and we would eat dinner like that. And we would do that 3 times a week. Sometimes more.
That's just crazy, bro. I keep hearing these kind of stories, and I have no concept of this. Because my reality is totally different.
We had a 500. This is a great Julio story, and I got to tell it. I just said don't talk about people, but this is a good story. So we had bottles of $300 and $400, $500 wine, and one was half gone, and one of the ladies who was there visiting Julio had some 7-Up, and she poured the 7-Up into this $500 and shook it up, and she said, "A wine cooler." And Julio looked at me and he said, "She's a cute." If you knew, yeah, that was classic. She's cute.
See, y'all be telling stories, and y'all don't be getting, like, we tell stories way different than y'all. Y'all be holding back information.
Oh, yeah. Just saying she's cute with that look in his eye meant that there's going to be an end result later.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen here.
Gavin, welcome. Unmute yourself and say hello.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Mike? I ain't talked to you in a nice little minute.
Hey, bro, meet Mr. Ralph Sutton. Ralph, meet Gavin.
Hey, you guys. Hey, Gavin.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm well, thank you.
You got any questions?
You said what?
Got any questions for him?
Oh, I got plenty. But let me find my charger because I'm on 4%. And I'm trying to make sure my laptop don't die before I get to ask him.
Gavin has been
Okay.
he does beat battles, and he's done his thing, competing, making beats, and so he last thing I remember was he went to New York battle. I think he took second place in that one, but it's been fun watching him go around beat battle and winning on the beat battles. How did you become the remix fella?
Oh, man. It started off with, I did a song called Don't Look Any Further. At one point, that was like one of the top sampled songs. Dennis Edwards, Don't Look Any Further. Doom, 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 doom. Anyway, that song kind of put me into a different level of engineering, and I just started doing remixes.
I believe "Don't Look Any Further" is the one that Eric B. and Rakim sampled. "Don't Look Any Further" is that the one Eric B. and Rakim sampled?
Yeah, and Lil Wayne and Young Jeezy and
Tell us.
Gucci,
Okay, well,
Gucci Mane and everybody else has sampled that particular beat.
I started talking because you went silent there. Your audio dipped out for a while. So you became the remix guy because you did that song and what?
Yeah, and people wanted that feel. So from there, yeah, I just started doing these remixes at Hitsville. So Benny Medina really promoted that. So I want to give a shout out to Benny Medina, who was at Motown and A&R, and he was my guy. So I pretty much, did a lot of the remixes. Then of course I was with Rick James. So I was just kind of trained to be a remixer by happenstance, man. Just doing those 3 records with Slick was put me into a different type of rehearsed practice behavior that I had. So I'm very fortunate. That's why I'm always grateful and thankful that I've had the opportunity to practice and refine a skill. So that's how I started doing remixes. And in 2004 or 5, I remixed Michael Jackson's "You Are Not Alone," and the song initially was released, the R. Kelly Michael Jackson version, and then that was a great album version, and then myself and John Buck had the opportunity to do a remix, and then have that remix be one of 5 that was done from the top teams, and we were a top team. And Michael came to the studio, told me to do one thing, and that is now the version of "You Are Not Alone" that you always hear. So, yeah, that was, and that of course won a Grammy and so forth and so on. So, yeah.
Okay. You tell me about Eric B. and Rakim coming in with your music. With your work.
You phrased it in a way that I wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh yeah," but that particular beat, that particular record was just very popular, and it was part of Eric B's arsenal of samples that he liked to use. So it just worked out that they also had the creator of the original mix as their engineer as well. So, yeah, I would never, ever try to promote myself as anything other than being a great engineer on a great team with Eric B. and Rakim. Yeah, so, yeah.
I got you, bro. I just pictured.
I'm honored that Eric liked the song, and I'm honored that we did some really great songs together. Let the rhythm hit them. We got some great songs. Mahogany, some of them are ghetto anthems. So, Paid in Full. Man, what?
I just picture being in the studio and somebody bringing some of my work into. It's number one, an honor. It's like a big respect to the the people that created that music. But
right.
Picture that situation. I just think it's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin. Are you there, Gavin? 'Cause I want to get you in before we get out.
Somebody's just signing off, whoever it was. I just saw it. They said they got to bounce. So
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to me, and I hope that I've answered as many of the questions that you guys had, and I hope that that I've added value to what it is that you desire to do as music professional. And I definitely want to say that we're living in an indie music world, and any and everything is possible now. You don't have to get, you need no one's permission to create your music. All you need is a laptop, an internet connection, and to build your fan base. And if your music is good and people like it, then it's going to take off and you're going to be successful. You do not need permission, though. You don't. You don't need anybody's permission. You're your own. Your fans validate you. Period.
All right, Gavin, do you have any for him since you're back? You only got a few
I'm gonna
minutes.
just go back. I'm gonna just go back and watch the whole hangout because I'm pretty sure y'all covered everything I wanted him to talk about, as far as working with Motown and breakdance and all that.
Okay.
Where are you located?
Who, me?
Yeah,
I
Gavin.
mean, I just recently moved to Atlanta. I've been here about 4 or 5 months, but in about 3 weeks, I'm moving to New Orleans.
All right.
On the move. Okay. Why you moving so much, bro?
Well, really, I moved here for the music, but I got a baby on the way in New Orleans, so I need to be there for that. So.
Congratulations, Daddy. Papa.
Appreciate that, pimp.
Congratulations. Much respect to that.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, they got music going on down there, so I mean, I just try to dabble in the New
Gavin,
everybody needs music.
Yeah, and I lived in Memphis, Tennessee for 7 years, Gavin, and that region of the country, the Mid-South, is a hotbed of talent. And
oh yeah, I'm from Arkansas. My family lives in Memphis, so yeah, I'm a huge Stax fan.
Yeah, so I've had a great experience there. So I'm looking forward. In August, I'll be there for the Loud Pack. We're doing a convention there, so that's loudpack.com, and yeah, we'll be there doing a pro audio show. So people
Okay, you said when is it? Hold on, I'm gonna look that up now because I'm always going to Memphis.
It's gonna more than likely, and I got the date wrong. It's gonna be in September, the last week of September.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Loud Pack.
Like that Loud Pack.
Loud. Yeah, exactly. LOUDPAC.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely signing up right now.
Yeah, so Loud Pack.
And I like my for having you on here. This is crazy.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Loud Pack will be a multimedia expo, and it's going to give the people of that region of the country the opportunity to feel, touch, demo a lot of the equipment that they may not otherwise have the opportunity to do at NAMM or AS, and or in East Tennessee, in Nashville. So yeah, the Mid-South, Western Tennessee has a very near and dear special part of my heart.
Yeah, I said next time I was going to Memphis, I was gonna make a studio tour of Royal Studio, the one that Al Green and Willie Mitchell, Arted, Stax, and all of that. Just because I'm so familiar with the area, I just never went out and actually ventured out to actually go in depth with each studio.
Mm-hmm. We'd be sure to go by.
I used to live right off Shelby Drive.
Okay. Go to the Stax Museum of American Soul for sure.
Yeah, because my close friend that lives in Memphis he works with David Porter.
Okay. Then down the street is.
Go ahead, hit him with your question.
I got a quick one. Yes. How could you give me your opinion on? This is something that I've suggested, and I haven't gotten too far with this particular gentleman, and I wanted him to study some songs that are from an era when he hasn't been born yet, and he's having a hard time relating to the relevance of why he should study a song that was written 30 years ago. And you know, for me, it's a no-brainer. I think it's because if a song was written 30 years ago and it's still on the radio, then there's a pretty important message that is involved with that particular piece of sonic art. Whether it be you know, it's the whole thing. You know, the lyrics, the arrangement, the pick of instruments, etc. And so I'm a big proponent on pushing this gentleman to study some of this older music, as well as current music that is, you know, was recently released, and drawing a conclusion on the differences and the similarities. And and I was wondering on your viewpoint of that. Do you think that that is a productive suggestion for a young artist to try to learn what makes music music? You know, timeless music, timeless.
Yeah. Anytime you could give somebody a suggestion on something that's vetted and proven to be successful, and you encourage them to listen to it and come up with a way to understand how that art, craft, and science was created for it, yeah, that's a good thing. Now, I'll give you a secret, and this is no secret, but I'm gonna make sure that it apparently a secret to some, and that is if you want to be a successful songwriter, write about the higher human calling. If you want your songs to be on the radio forever, write about the higher human calling, which is love, service, compassion, empathy. You write about that, and you'll always be successful, and your songs will last forever. If you want to be quick hitting, do some things that may make some noise for 6 to 8 months, then do baby behavior stuff. Murder, death, kill, destroy, rape, robbing, pillaging, disrespect, things of that nature. People feel those ways because it's a base behavior. It's a lower human behavior that everybody has, but only the champions step above it and focus on the positive and not on the negative. So you won't hear some mean-spirited songs after they run their course. You don't hear them anymore. So if you want songs to stay on the radio or whatever vehicle it is, write about love, man.
Right on.
Write about love. And as corny as somebody may think it sounds, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Stevie Wonder and Lionel Richie have turned 3 words into a cottage industry. I love you. Right. You can't turn off Stevie's publishing. If you had the biggest faucet, the biggest, tightest titanium rubber washer in the world, you couldn't turn his publishing off. You can't. His songs are timeless because they're about love. Lionel's songs are timeless because they're about love. You never get tired of listening to that. They're not talking about hurting or killing nobody.
No, I hear you on that, for sure. Yeah,
and there's others. It's not just not my guys. It's a whole bunch of people who've written about love. It could be Teddy Pendergrass, turn off the lights and light a candle. We all know what's getting ready to go down, but he didn't say it.
Right.
So, you know.
Well, that's part of that. What makes it so great is he leaves that interpretation for the listener.
Absolutely. It's
to draw
fun
their own
to listen
picture.
to those songs. Fun to listen to those. You know, when I listen to the blues, I like Johnny Guitar Watson. Now, some people may say Johnny was more R&B, but Johnny was a blues guy. You know, and for me, Ain't That a Bitch is just, that's fun to listen to, you know?
Yeah.
Those are just good old fun musicianship songs. So, you know.
All right, I've got to start up
everything, guys.
I've got to start up a hangout with Brad Chapman. Now, do you know Brad Chapman, Ralph?
Yes, I do. I've had the opportunity to meet him in person and talk to him on the phone. You guys knock it out and have a good time.
What I was about to ask you for was a favor. Would you just come in and say hello? I'm about to start it like right now. Would you just come in and just say hello?
Sure, I'll be glad to, and then I got to bounce myself.
Okay. Gavin, all you guys, would you guys join that session too? So I'm going to close this one out. I'm going to start that one up and invite you guys in.
Okay, cool.
All right. We're out.